Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 with Zebu Nation. This is our Wings of Glory series starring LAFC. And today for you, we have our pre-season spectacular for Season 3 of MLS. And if you watched our season-ending video for last season, you'll know that this is a do-or-die season. We're under a little bit of fire from the board because we underperformed last season. So we got some stuff to do here in the 2020 MLS regular season. And we can take a look back at last year just in case you missed it. 2019, we finished all the way down here in 16th place. Managed only 40 points on the season. Just a lot of disappointment going all the way around. Orlando City, though, they overperformed. They outperformed what people thought, and they finished first in the league. They won the Supporters' Shield, which is a bit of a surprise. Toronto finished third. Portland finished all the way down here in 11th. FC Dallas jumped up to second, so that's good for them. And then in terms of MLS Cup, Atlanta United came out of the playoff tree and won the MLS Cup last season, so they got all the glory. The expansion team from just a couple of years ago, so hopefully we can follow in their footsteps and win the MLS Cup in our 4th or 5th year, whatever it is for them. So, I mentioned about pressure, that this is a do-or-die season, and that is because the board, they made us promise that we're going to get 10 points in the next 5 games. Well, we got 3 games left to get those 10 points. It doesn't tell us how many points we have. So I'm assuming we have 3 points of the 10 that we need, but I can't tell you that for sure. Because I don't know if they counted that first game right after the announcement or the proclamation where they said, hey, you need to do this. Or did they not count the last game of the year against Portland? I don't know why they wouldn't do that. But anyway, I'm thinking we've got 3 points in the kitty with 3 games left. So that means we got no room for any kind of messing around. We got to get wins, and that's what we need to do. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the pre-season spectacular. Look at all the things we've done and all that sort of stuff. So that begins, of course, with the checklist. We'll go down to the academy. We had a youth intake. Not a spectacular youth intake, though. Certainly not the same as it was in previous seasons. We got a couple of 16-year-olds who are not very good. We got 2 16-year-olds who could be, fairly okay. Nick Cusack here, central defender. He's pretty good. Only 9 jumping reach, but he's already got, at 16 years old, he's got marking, tackling, heading, teamwork, positioning, aggression. He's got some pretty decent stats. So I think he'll be a serviceable player early in his career. Whether or not he'll advance to being any more than that, I don't know. Then Eric Marin, goalkeeper. I don't know about this guy. He's got 7 reflexes. I'm not feeling this character. So he could get better, but is he going to be a goalkeeper? I don't think so. We've already got Charlie Young, 17-year-old, who is much, much better and much more likely to crack into our first team and much more likely to become a better player. So I'm sorry, Eric Maurin is going to be a sort of a career backup for us, if that. And our youth intake was pretty small, too, as you can see. Not a lot of guys going on here, so we got to boost up the academy in some way. All right, finances back up to $58 million. We got all of our preseason money from MLS and sponsorships and all that sort of stuff. So we're looking pretty good. Transfer budget, as you can see, $11.6 million in the transfer kitty. No problem there. They expanded our payroll to $26 million. I didn't ask for that. I didn't need it. We're only spending 8 of it. So, maybe they expected us to go out and make a bunch of bold signings, but that didn't happen. So We'll get to that in a minute. Board, as you can see, job security, we've crept up to stable. We're at 45%. I guess they like the moves that we made in the offseason. Board confidence, everything's looking okay. They really are loving our leadership support. We do have a ton of support from the locker room. The players enjoy playing their soccer for us, so that's good. Transfers, they like our transfers pretty much. Atmosphere, all that stuff. So we're looking pretty good. Club-wise, nothing has changed here. Sam Harding is still our #1 prospect. Look at this. Alan Martinez, the youngster, the 23-year-old, as we mentioned in the previous video, made him the team captain, turning the reins over to the youngster. He's become one of our best players. He's become one of our best players, if not one of the best players in the United States. So that is very, very good for all involved. All right, Scott Caldwell is going to be our vice captain. Of course, Vela is still our key player. Unable to get rid of him. Didn't really try to get rid of him because I didn't want to mess up the dynamics. His contract runs out this year, so we're gonna play with him, I guess, until he's only gonna play half the season anyway. So it's not like we got to make we're not going to revolve the team around him like we've tried in previous seasons. He's going to be more of a role player than a key player for us. All right, transfers. This is the big thing you want to look at every season with the preseason spectacular. So let's get to the transfer history. First of all, something that I did not really want to happen, but Michael Hector got bought out by Brighton for $2.6 million. He had that in his contract, that he had a buyout clause, so there was nothing we could do with it. So we lost our best defender. Not too happy about that. Other than that, we sent a bunch of guys out on loan, no problem. We waived a bunch of people. Smith and Williams, Tejeda, his contract ran out. Marias, we let his contract run out. Skylar Munoz is the only guy who got drafted in the waiver draft. So other than that, those other guys, I guess, are still out there. Maybe they've joined other teams on free agent contracts, but they were not drafted back into MLS. The other thing we got to look at before we look at who we brought in, we got to look at some trades we made. Because going into the offseason, we only had one second-round pick in the upcoming Super Draft. That was it. No first-round picks, no third-round picks, no fourth-round picks, nothing. Just a single second-round pick. So we got some offers from some other teams. New York came in and offered us a second-round pick for Michael Friedland, who was an 18-year-old reserve fullback. We got a ton of fullbacks. This guy only had 6 jumping reach. He's a pretty good prospect, but not so good that we could pass up a second-round pick. So got a second-round pick for him. We had to give them a little bit of allocation money, but that's fine. We got tons of that rolling around. And then Minnesota came by and wanted Jared Watts, our central defender. This was before we lost the other guy. But anyway, 28 years old, getting on in his career. He's only like a 2.5-star player, honestly. He's really good. Physically, he's holding up. He's your average dude when it comes to MLS central defenders. He's versatile. Can play, defensive midfielder, can play a little bit of fullback here and there. But they were offering us not just a first-round pick, they were offering us the number 5 overall pick in the draft for Watts and $300,000 in allocation money. So I jumped on that one. I said, okay, we can replace Watts with a younger player who's just as good with the top 5 pick in the draft. So that's what we did. We traded for those 2 picks, and that allowed us to look at some other transfers here. That allowed us to take some players in the draft. Now, first of all, Alex Kahn is a guy we picked up in the waiver draft, 29-year-old goalkeeper. He's just going to be a backup for us because our young goalkeepers, they wanted to go out on loan. At the end of last season, they were complaining. They were like, hey, we never get to play. We want to go out on loan. So I brought this guy in. He's a career backup, only $60,000, no problem. Bring him in. Let him sit the bench for a year and collect a paycheck. That's fine. So we had 3 picks in the draft, and our number 1 pick was Daniel Salmon, right here, fullback. He could play left or right. That's very cool. Very versatile dude. We need him at right fullback. He's an attacking style fullback. Really good pace and acceleration, agility, balance, very good physicals. His mentals are pretty good for a 21-year-old. He's got work rate, positioning, teamwork, so he's going to be solid defensively. He's got some anticipation. Technically, he's okay as well. 12 tackling, 11 marking. His crossing and dribbling could be a little better, but they could improve. He's a 3-star player with 4-star, maybe even 5-star potential. So this is a really good pick in the first round. And this was a really good draft. I wish I had more draft picks. I wish I needed more draft picks. I mean, I got so many players right now, so many young players we're developing that we didn't really need these guys. But it was a really deep draft. A lot of guys who looked like this, maybe a little worse, maybe like a bunch of guys who were 2.5-star with 3.5-star potential. But still, it was very deep, and so we were able to pick up some of those guys with our next 2 pick, the second-round pick. Next up, we picked up Tom Murray, a right winger. This was sort of best guy available, and as you can see, he fits that profile. 2.5-star ability, 3.5-star potential ability, maybe even as much as 4.5 stars. But he's got very good physicals, strength, stamina, pace, all very good. His mentals are really good as well. Bravery, aggression, determination, flair, leadership, all that stuff. Teamwork, 17. This guy's a really good team player. He's going to fit with the team dynamics, all that stuff. And these technicals aren't great. They're not going to blow you away, but they're, we can work with this guy. He can do some stuff. He's got a little bit of technique, first touch, dribbling. He's with that flair and that dribbling, he can do some stuff down the sidelines, hopefully. He hugs the line, so he stays in position. That's good. And for a second-round pick, this guy is, really good. 21 years old, no problem there. And then our final pick, Kyle Murphy from Fresno, striker / central midfielder. We're going to play him more as a central midfield or attacking center mid, and because he doesn't really have the finishing to be a striker. But look at those physicals. Really good. All greens up and down the board. Again, strength, stamina, pace, acceleration, really good. Mental's pretty good. 15 leadership, 14 off the ball, 16 teamwork. Again, these are team guys, team players, guys who are going to come in and, get on board with what we got going in the locker room. So no problems there. Technically, he's a little behind, but he's got some good first touch. His passing could use a lot of work. But for a reserve, obviously he's not going to beat out Martinez for that position. So he's just a guy we brought in as a reserve, a guy who can, give us a little something, a little bit of work rate off the bench, and that's fine. So our draft picks, I thought, were pretty good, but that's all we brought in. So we got, a lot of the same guys as last year. We're going to go with these guys. Now, we do have a designated player slot available, but I don't want to use it now. I want to save it till we need it, maybe mid-season. Now, of course, I could lose my job by then, and then we're all out of business. But, my philosophy is if you have a designated player slot available, save it until the summer transfer window when there are more and better players available in the summer than in the winter. So that's what we're doing. That is the transfers. Now, what do we got going on? Medical center right now, we're looking okay. We got a few, some injury risks, but very few injuries. Kyle Duncan right now is our only guy injured. It's just a minor injury. He's kind of a minor player, so that's no problem. Schedule-wise, we'll take a look at how we've done. It's been a little bit of an up and down season, preseason, I should say. But we're getting better. We're showing signs of improvement. Now, I was really mad with our starters this preseason. Our starters lost 3-2 to the Dayton Dutch Lions, which is ridiculous. They are a Great Lakes Division amateur team, and our starters lost to them 3-2. So, that made me really mad. And it made me change things up in terms of how we're attacking this season. And so I made some changes in the starting lineup. Made some changes in the formation that we're using. Let's continue here to the match preview where we talk about who we're playing. We're playing VDG, one of the teams from Brazil. They're second in the Brazilian division right now, Brazilian first division. So they're a very good team. We haven't scouted them much, so we don't really know how good they are. But if they're second place in the first division of Brazil, they're probably pretty good. So this is going to be a stiff test for us going into the MLS season to see where we're at and how we're doing. So let's get to our team selection. And this is what we've changed. We've decided to go with the diamond formation. When the chips are down, I go with the diamond formation. It's just, I don't know. It's the formation that seems to work best. And the other reason to go with the diamond formation is look at all these partnerships. We got a lot of guys forming very nice partnerships here down the center. So we're looking good. And we also have some attacking style fullbacks. Both our left fullback, Leahy, who we brought in at the end of last season, and Salmon, our #1 draft pick, our first-round draft pick. Both those guys are attacking style fullbacks. So might as well play a formation that plays into their strengths. So this is what we're going with. We're going with the diamond formation. We're going to live and die with the diamond formation. Submit that team and let us go. Season 3. We got a lot going on. And look at this. We are back in Bank of California Stadium. This is another thing I kind of forgot about. I forgot to mention last season. I mean, I mentioned it quite a bit, but I forgot to mention that maybe this had an effect on why we didn't play so well last season. We were playing essentially all road games last season. And our fans weren't there in force. We got 24,000 season tickets sold already this season. That's a lot of season tickets, and those people did not show up when we played at the other stadium. So now that we're back at our home stadium, we're going to have 33,000 fans now. You know, a third more fans than we had last time we played here. So it's going to be, you know, a big boost to us, I think, having like a real home field, and we can win some of these home games. Hopefully. That's my hope, anyway. So here we go. Starting lineup. Zach Steffen in goal, of course. I mentioned Leahy and Salmon at the fullback positions. We brought a Lash down from the midfield. He can play central defense just fine. He's been teaming with Hagelin very well, and he gives us a much speedier, much more mobile central defender. So hopefully we're going to get beat on the back end much less this season. Our midfield is the same as last season. Caldwell, Delgado, the youngster, Conklin, our #1 draft pick from last season. Martinez, team captain, the advanced playmaker role. And Rodrigo and Vela. We're giving them another shot. If these guys don't perform real well, real early, they're out of there. We're replacing them with our other strikers. But we're paying them a lot of money. They're on the roster. We can't do anything about it, so we're playing them. We are playing them. Maybe we're just repeating the same mistake over and over again. But concentrate on building up your fitness. This is your chance to impress me? Sure. All right, let's go. So here we are back at Bank of California Stadium. I can't quite see where the extra seats are. They didn't fill in the corners like I was hoping they wouldn't, because that gives our stadium a little bit of flair, I think. But here we are, opening highlight. Conklin has the ball. Is he going to get it out wide to Salmon, the rookie? He does. And there ends the highlight. As soon as you get the ball to the rookie, the highlight ends. But anyway, 2 minutes down. I think right now we're in, just key highlights. See how that works for us. It's just a preseason game. I've been doing all the preseason games in just key highlights to make them go a little quicker. But that gives us, a little less game time to talk about. Here we go. First highlight. Leo Principe sends it short. Vela knocks it out of there. Good man. Paulo Victor Patrick has it. Can we get a counterattack? Can we get a steal and counterattack? They are passing the ball very nicely. Centering. Oh, Principe. Oh, what a stop from Steffen. But they have kept it in. Salmon, the rookie, with a steal. Nice tackle. Gets it forward to Vela. Vela playing that Trequartista role. Drops it back for Martinez. Looks like they're paying some pretty decent pressure. Gets it cross field to Leahy, up to Delgado. Leahy going on the attack. Here's Martinez. Plays it forward for Vela. Vela in. Nice. That's what we need from Vela. Be sneaky. Get on that back line and score some goals. They're forming a nice little trio up front. They're starting to feel each other out. And I think that's just what we missed. The problem with running what we had been running the last couple seasons is that Vela turned out not to be that lone striker. That guy that could just do it all for you. And the same with Rodrigo. Rodrigo as the target man, he couldn't be the man at the top of the box. You need there's a nice score for them. They even it up on the free kick. Arthur just blasts it right past Stefan. That was pretty bad defending here on the free kick. Not sure who missed their man, but nobody marked Arthur whatsoever. But yeah, so our two strikers, our two designated players, are guys that they just couldn't play that lone striker role. I think they're both better with partners. So, having to play a two-striker system, might as well go with the diamond. Here's another free kick. Hey. Okay, that was interesting. A whole lot of deflections going on there, but it deflected out of the goal. It's got incredibly lucky. There's Caldwell, intercepts the corner kick and sends it downfield. Martinez can't control it, and there ends the highlight. So with the diamond formation now, we got a trio in the middle, trio up top, a nice partnership in defense. And, if our defense struggles, we still got that designated player slot. We've got our top prospect, our Belgian central defender. I keep forgetting his name. But he's out on loan to a very good club in Finland right now. So if he progresses as I hope, we could even bring him back mid-season or before if we struggle defensively and just throw him in there, central defense. So we got a lot of options right now that we're working on. But 1-1 going into halftime. I'm pleased with this. We'll take this any day of the week. But we've played a lot of preseason games, getting our match fitness up there so that we're ready to go at the beginning of the season and we have no more of these slow starts. Hopefully we're all fully fit, we're all match ready, and we just start cranking out the wins from the very beginning. All right, I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. It's fine. I think we can stick with counterattack and no problem. All right, so we're going to start the second half here on defense, and there ends the highlight. So let's see if we can catch him on the counterattack. Our ratings are pretty decent other than Rodrigo. Might have to get him out of there. Vela is at a 6.9 even with the goal. Salmon loses the ball. Here they are on the counterattack. Paulinho coming out wide on the near side, looking to cross. That was a kind of a weak closeout. Oof. He just missed the shot from the top of the box there. All right, let's go, boys. Let's not lose possession. Salmon still got a 6.7. He's looking complacent for some reason. We might sub out Rodrigo at any moment here. 60-minute mark. He's a Brazilian, so maybe we can keep him in there to play against his Brazilian comrades. But, I think a quick hook is in line for him. Jordan Hamilton is feeling abysmal because he missed out on the Team Canada rating, or Team Canada spot. So we're going to bring Harding in, put him at the defense. Not Harding, right? Yeah, that is Harding. Defensive forward. And see what he can do. Inject some speed into the offense. He hasn't been everything we'd hoped, but you know, he's only had a handful of games for us because he got called up to the USA Under-20s last season. It was pretty funny, pretty ironic, I guess. We brought him in to replace guys who keep getting called up to their national teams, and then he gets called up to his national team. I don't know. Here's Leahy on the far side looking to make a play. Sends it in. Delgado. He's got some guys in the box. Leahy sends it in. Martinez intercepts. Ooh. Martinez. Got to start making some of those shots, buddy. He's got a 7.1 rating, though, so he's looking pretty good. Salmon's looking a little complacent there on the right-hand side. A little tired as well. We could bring in, who do we got to bring in? We got Julian Berry we could bring in. 18-year-old. Another one of our academy players. He's an interesting dude. 6'4", 14 jumping reach. You know, his defense isn't that great, but he's not that much worse than Salmon, so we'll send him in there. Since Salmon's looking complacent. Vela is now looking complacent at a 6.9 rating. You can bring in Wilson, our other youngster that we signed last year, make him the advanced forward and try to spread out their defense a little bit. Try to throw a few more long balls down the field to Wilson. So Rodrigo and Vela, they got one goal. And that's okay. But we're expecting more from those guys. So we'll see. Here's Stefan sending it downfield. Nobody there on our side, but they just sort of head it, and Conklin wins the ball. Gets it out wide to Leahy. Leahy's going to be one of our playmakers this season, hopefully. Martinez up to Wilson, the youngster. He finishes. Yeah. I mean, look at that. Paying these guys like, you know, $60,000, $70,000, whatever we're paying these guys. Much less than what Vela's getting. So this year, I don't think we're going to have a problem when Vela and Rodrigo go out, because we're going to have these two guys that we're going to be playing them together quite a bit. And then if there are injuries, we got Hamilton sitting there as well. So we got, you know, much more firepower this year is what I'm thinking. All right, here we are. 82 minutes down. Barry on the back line. That was an interesting diving header, my man. The ball does not go out of bounds. Oh, off the post. These guys are a little bit unlucky. And I think they fouled anyway. Arthur is looking tired for them. Evander is also looking pretty tired. Here we are, 84 minutes on the attack again. Conklin. Conklin's getting forward from that Mazzala roll. Sends it across to Leahy, playing very narrow. He's got good long shots, though. He's got like 13 shooting. So I don't mind him taking that shot. That was pretty good. As you can see, though, we are, you know, a little bit younger, a little bit faster, and we're getting the ball downfield. And this diamond formation is just, I don't know. It's just magical. What can you say? Here's Evander sending it in. Tales. Arthur just towering over everybody. Scores to tie it up. That was, he seemed offside, but I guess not. He was just, I guess he couldn't be offside because we had guys sitting there. He's just bigger than everybody. Look at him. He's a monster. How big is that guy? I don't know. But here we are. 10 seconds to go in the game. This is probably the last highlight. Barry has it. Playing very narrow as well. Martinez sends it in off the crossbar. That's probably going to be it. We're going to get away with a 2-2 draw versus the second best team in the Brazilian First Division. I think that's pretty good. I mean, maybe this is early season and they haven't actually played any games, so they're just second in the division by name. Paulinho tries to get it forward, but there's a Lash playing that central defense. Counterattack with Harding. Gets it wide to Wilson. He's got some men going forward. If he hits some, Conklin. Delgado. No, offside. Conklin waited just a half second, split second too late. And there's the final whistle. So, 2-2 draw versus a Brazilian First Division team. That's pretty good. Go to the dressing room. Team talk. Happy with your performance. Let's go. Let's see. Stefan had a good rating, 7.0. Everybody else sort of, their second half ratings were much better. Wilson with a 7.2 rating and that goal. Martinez jumped up to 7.7 in the second half. Delgado 7-0 in the second half. So we played better in the second half than the first. And, got the draw. So I'm happy with that. All right. So that's the preseason spectacular for Season 3. And hopefully we can go on, play our first game in the MLS. That's going to be pretty tension-filled. We're going to need a win versus DC United. We got one friendly, Sacramento, coming up. We're going to play all of our reserves in that game, so that's no problem. We're going to come back for the DC United game. And this is, if you watch my first season video, we went on a horrific road trip to start the season, where we were back and forth from the East Coast to the West Coast. This schedule, this season, this is how it's supposed to be done in the United States of America. You go on what's called an East Coast swing. So we're going to play DC, and then we're going to play Columbus, and then we're going to play NYC, then we're going to play New England, and then Orlando, and then Atlanta. We play all them Eastern Conference teams first so that we can stay out there on the East Coast, get acclimated to the East Coast time zone difference and all that stuff. The weather on the East Coast is terrible and all that stuff. That's how you're supposed to do it in American sports when you play in this conference that is a coast-to-coast conference, and you've got to go 2,500 miles to the other side of the universe. So hopefully this beginning season will help us out. It'd be nice if all these were home games, but they're not. So, yeah, that's how it's going to go. So hopefully we can win enough games to keep the board happy, and then, continue on with this save. So we got a lot of stuff in the balance coming up. So stay tuned. Until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.